Welcome back to the RPG Talk Show. We are going into our unboxing,
Yes, just
which I'm guessing is this.
this is Dungeon Crate,
Yes.
dungeoncrate.com.
Mm-hmm.
I have been since the beginning, and I've seen many changes.
Yes.
To include, most notable were the changes in the box styles.
Yes.
In this case, what you're seeing here, remember last month,
I remember.
it was just a plastic covering with the logo on it.
Yeah.
And a white box underneath it.
Yeah. At least it's not the white box because there's this. It's not that bad. I know that you said that you're kind of happy that they had the bag.
Well, yeah, I like the bag because it protects the box.
Yes.
But it didn't have. They weren't collectible boxes.
Right.
That's kind of collectible, just barely.
Just barely.
They're not as nice as the ones I use for my everyday gaming.
Yeah. You want me to go grab one?
Yeah, grab one.
Okay.
And while you're doing that, I'll point this out. One of the things about the old boxes is they had the coins. Now the coins are plastic and part of the bag.
Okay.
Now, obviously, the reason they're doing this is especially with our current levels of inflation, tariffs, and other things. This must obviously be less expensive than these original boxes, which is I use.
It's understandable.
These. I collect things in, and I liked the fact that we put a plastic bag over it, so the people didn't write on my box.
Yeah. So there are, advantages and disadvantages.
Right.
So this box, it's not nearly as collectible, but I can understand why they would go to something more economical.
I will save this box, just because I have every style of box that they've ever done. So I've got like a historical collection of those.
Yeah.
But future boxes that look like this, I may not be saving.
I understand why. Okay, let's see what we got in here, because I know last time we were doing Dungeon Crate, I was worried about the quality.
Yes, and because of the pricing of things, it's hard to keep your prices to your customer the same and still give the same value for your box.
Yeah.
Now, literally, this service started as a one-man show.
Yes.
He did everything. Now he's got a small crew.
Yeah.
It is, but it's still literally a mom and pop shop.
Nice. Ooh, so I do want to, I did mention the quality.
Yeah.
I'm seeing some good stuff here.
I think you will. And we'll discuss each item as they come out.
Yeah. So the first one we have here is bones. So getting a miniature. This is an oxidation beast.
Awesome.
It's a rust monster.
It's a rust monster. Go ahead and open that up.
You want me to open it? Okay.
Yeah. Bones, from Reaper, are pre-primed.
Yes.
A lot of my miniatures, especially the 3D printed ones, aren't. I just discovered that there was filament that can be used that is already pre-primed.
Okay.
So the next time I buy filament for printing, I will be looking for the pre-primed stuff.
Okay. So this is the oxidation beast. In Dungeons and Dragons, I guess there is some type of copyright on it.
Could be, but everybody wants to avoid angering the mouse or the wizards of the waterways.
Yes. Actually, I do know that when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons, the rust monster, it's funny. There were some just generic plastic creatures.
Yeah, toy monsters.
Toy monsters. I remember having some of those in kindergarten.
Yeah, I would like to find some more of those.
Yeah.
Original ones for our museum. The owl bear came from there.
Hmm.
The rust monster came from there.
Yeah.
Um, several other creatures.
So there's a concept that happens with, for example, with Transformers, where
Right.
they just had these toys, and the toys came first, and the story came second.
Right.
Yeah. So we also have, and this I think is interesting.
Well, this is definitely different because
This is a number one. This is Dungeon Crate Magazine.
right.
Yeah, Dungeon Crate Magazine.
You've seen before we had modules,
Hmm.
story ideas, and that kind of stuff. But instead of all separate, it's right there, and it is a magazine, and it
Yes.
has multiple things in there, including a module.
Hmm.
Um,
It's got the map
right,
of Halcyon.
and it's got the history of Halcyon in this one.
Nice. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff here.
Read the table of contents.
Okay. So that's here. I do appreciate that they have the numbers for the things in D20s.
Right.
In this issue, Xander's Lost Orb, an exciting adventure written by Kevin Coffey and updated with Shadow Dark RPG modifiers. Cool people you should know. Q&A with Bill Harvett, creator of Crawl Club Righteous Vow. Traps to die for. Watch out, these traps created by Floyd Coughlin are deadly. History of Halcyon. Learn about the different elves that dwell in our sandbox world. GM tips, tools, and tricks. Discover simple tips and tools that make tracking initiative easy.
I'm going to be honest. I have never ran a game in the world of Halcyon.
Hmm.
I've taken their modules, I put them in the campaign world I'm already working on.
Yeah, that reminds me. I've never played in a. There's a world that swords and sorceries in it, but there are certain monsters and concepts that like I want to take them and just stick them in there. Specifically, the Blood Bayou.
Right.
Yeah, I so want to use that. Word Quest to boost your brain power with a word search inspired by Xander's Lost Orb. Pickpocket finds by Floyd Coughlin, a playing card deck chart for rogues. This list includes two new magic items for 5e.
And I'm actually pro the magazine approach.
Yeah.
I feel it may not be accurate, but I feel I get more bang for my buck out of this magazine
Mhm.
than a standard just wrote us a module.
Not only that, I mean, this is something that I felt was important back when Paizo was doing Dungeon Magazine and Dragon Magazine. This gives you communication with the company.
It does.
Yeah. It allows them to talk about things that aren't just the adventure, and they can update you on things. So it feels like you're in the loop.
And as an old man, I am so glad to see magazines actually, other than gun
Hmm.
magazines and cooking magazines.
Yes. So I'm not going to read the from the Office of Dungeons Affairs, but they do talk about the debut issue of Dungeon Crate magazine. I'm happy for this.
Yeah,
I'm very happy for that.
I'm looking forward to actually reading it all.
Mm-hmm. I will hand that to you then.
I'm not going to read it on the air.
We have our.
But you did show off some of the art, right?
Oh, yes. Still very good quality art. We've got a little D20 bag, and I always like the little tiny ones. It feels like there's two dice in here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see what we got in here. We got my colors. The first dice I ever got for Dungeons and Dragons was black and red.
Okay.
Yes, and this is a good. I think that's a gem.
Yeah, it's
Red,
a red
red,
acrylic.
red acrylic gem. Two D20s, and sometimes it's good to have different color D20s so that even if you're rolling advantage, for example, I can roll, you know, let's say I've got six D20s, I've got three attacks, all of them have advantage. I color code the D20s and I roll all of them at the same time.
Well, I do that too. If I got a claw bite, I will have one color die for the claws and another color die for the bite, so I can roll them all at once and know um, what they're doing.
Yeah.
But it also, if I have to re-roll because of advantage or disadvantage, I just re-roll that color die as opposed to which one did I need to re-roll now?
Right.
Which attack was that?
There is a business card here. The Hermit's Homebrew Podcast. Scan me. crazyhermitdm@gmail.com. And it's got a QR code. I will go ahead and include this because why not support them?
Yeah. Now, make sure that gets a good focus so people can actually take a picture of that.
Let me try and get that.
But this is something we might need to do.
I know that's something that we're going to have to talk to Hawk about.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see. Ooh, we've got stickers. I think this one is for you. Here.
Is this because I'm playing a paladin or because I have to put up with the paladins?
Yes. This you're gonna have to pat me down for this because I know my wife would love this sticker.
Yeah, my wife too.
Here. Oh.
Now that's a window cling.
It's a window cling. But I also appreciate I appreciate the bag.
Oh yeah, I love all these bags that they give me.
I don't want to damage the bag. Come on, out, 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 out.
It is a snug fit.
This is. Oh, I don't want to cut it. Jeez. Come on, let's bend.
I like the color of this bag too.
Oh yeah, I love the lavender. I would have loved to have a bag like this as a prop for when I was doing a Cyan Wrath.
Yeah.
With his insecurity.
So yeah, roll high, never die. You can put that on your card, put it on your window. You can leave it in the sticker.
Yes.
Whatever you want to do to put it on display. Where will I put it on display? I haven't decided yet.
Well, these are your stickers. You can do with them what you want.
Well, my wife has a sticker book.
Yes.
I could replace some of the stickers that have gotten too faded in my car.
Yeah, true. I've learned that when it comes to my wife's stickers, those are her stickers. I'm not going to try and switch them out. These are always useful.
Yep, that's a mini character sheet.
And it's a notepad, so you can have a bunch of them.
If you want just the very bare minimum that you need to run your character, that's it.
Yeah. Ooh, but this is one of the reasons why I felt like the quality is gone. You know, it's still there. Throwing it in the plastic isn't going to do this justice. This is a dice tray.
Leather.
Leather, yes.
Yeah. It's supposed to look like leather.
Yeah.
I am assuming it's not real leather.
No.
But I can find out.
This feels high quality. The way this works is snap them together. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Now this is better for storing dice, but doesn't make a good rolling surface.
True. This, I feel, is probably the most valuable thing in the box.
Yeah.
But this is still really, really good. And that is nice, high quality. I know last time I was worried, especially with the box and some of the other things going on in there, that maybe they were dropping in quality. This, I feel, is a good showing afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely would agree with this. This is an acceptable compromise in the box quality as far as I'm concerned. I'm glad we still got the coins. Yes. I have so many of these that I need to turn in. What I need to really do is talk them into putting some items up for the coins. Because, frankly, the stuff that they have up are either random items or stuff that I personally...
You already have.
Or don't need.
Hmm.
Like, I actually have enough Thor's hammer necklaces.
So, was there a reason why you had me open up
The actual miniature?
yes.
Well, to be frankly, it's because my son wants it.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to let him paint that if he wants.
Yes.
He's like, "Can I take it out of the box?" And I said, "Not until after the game
Okay, so
or after the show."
he can absolutely have that. So I wanted to see some of the things going on in the Dungeon Crate magazine here.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of
Um,
that.
let's see here. I do want to take a look at the from the Office of Dungeon Affairs because
Okay.
this is the initial one. This is a good idea of where they're going with this. Generally, I found so I haven't read ahead. Welcome to the debut issue of the Dungeon Crate magazine. Since our founding, Dungeon Crate 11 years ago, we have been privileged to work with some amazing writers and artists, creating adventures, charts, maps, and more. Good that they're calling out the people that they work with. I look around my office and see years of work that Dungeon Crate subscribers enjoyed every month. Enjoyed every month. I wanted to find a way to provide new encounters as well as revisit, revise, and expand on existing adventures in our world of Halcyon, which my friend Floyd Coughlin and myself created all those years ago. My goal with this publication is to offer more than just an adventure. I wanted to design something as fun for players and game masters, a fun zine-sized magazine that is fun-sized, that has some of the same things I loved in publications like Dragon Magazine back in the day.
Yes.
I called it.
Yeah. Well, Dragon Magazine, and
It was so
he's almost
good.
as good. It was better than good.
Yes.
It was a direct connection to Gary Gygax himself.
Mm-hmm.
It was brought in a lot of concepts and ways to look at things
Mm-hmm.
that you might not get from the rules. There was the sage advice that
Yeah.
explained to you, this is what I really meant.
Yeah, it wasn't just here are additional rules. I think it also helped form the culture of role-playing games at the time, for good or ill.
And one of my favorite parts was prison mail.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes.
And any adventures parts that they gave us.
Mm-hmm. I remember one of the first characters that I was trying to build. I could only build with Dragon Magazine because that's where the rules for Averils were.
Right. Hawk allowed me to use the Bard from Dragon Magazine for my um, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons campaign,
Yeah.
rather than the original build, which was I think you had to be 8th level before you actually became a Bard.
Bard. The original requirements for Bard were absurd.
Well, heck, I had to roll 100 times before I got the correct combination
Mm-hmm.
of rolls to create a Bard.
So continuing on, some of the things we want to feature are adventures, Q&As with people we knew in the gaming community, charts, maps, artwork, games, story prompts, articles on gaming, and tips for role players. We'll keep it nostalgic with an old school vibe and give GMs and players something to look forward to each month. I have an idea for you, by the way.
Oh,
After we wrap up.
after the show.
Yeah. We will have minimal advertising opportunities, more as we grow, and ways to help support Kickstarters and backer kit projects. We know lots of amazing folk that could use a little help getting the word out for everything from podcasts to publishing. So we want to also use these pages for a little of that as well. In this issue, I'm excited to revisit one of the first adventures we put in the crate. The first one I illustrated, Xander's Lost Orb, by Kevin Coffey, is a great adventure. After it was published, I built a 3D foam model of the map, still have it, in fact. Also, we threw in a few deadly traps and a pickpocket deck chart from Floyd. Hope you enjoyed this first shot and look forward to following zines. Wayne.
And Floyd has been, as he said, a part of this from the beginning.
Yes.
Can we look at the pickpocket part?
Oh,
Because it seems
absolutely.
like that's going to be a new mechanic.
32, page 32. Got
The word quest.
the word quest. 32. Okay. Deck chart. Pickpocket finds by Floyd Coughlin. When your rogue is pilfering random items from unsuspecting rubes, let your players pick from a standard deck of cards. And we've got hearts, spades, diamonds, and clubs.
Okay.
Do you have a deck of cards?
Of course I do. Standard deck, not marked.
Not marked. Okay.
Not magical in any way.
Not that card. Okay. So let's give it a nice shuffle.
Oh, this is pre-shuffled. I got it very well shuffled.
Okay.
I won't know what it is, but I'll just to prove it to you that it's shuffled.
Well, cut, and you tell me when you want to cut.
Okay.
You ready?
Ready.
Okay. What card? That is the Queen of Diamonds. So what I'm going to do is it shows the suits. I'm going to go to diamonds, and it is in order from lowest to highest,
value.
with the aces being low.
Okay.
And that was which one?
Queen of Diamonds.
Queen of Diamonds.
Yep.
Queen of Diamonds. A small sealed clay pot filled with fragrant incense.
Okay. That was actually something that people would wear or carry.
Okay. Cut it again. Two of spades. Two of spades. Bloody dagger. Swaddled in a ripped piece of cloth that matches the cloaks of the city watch.
I think we just walked into a murder mystery.
Yes. That is awesome. Seven of clubs. I'll do one more after this.
Yep, because we're going to get everybody.
Yeah. Silver hook set into a jeweled sleeve of hammered gold. Interesting. Okay.
Is it a fishing hook?
Silver hook set into a jeweled sleeve of hammered gold.
Huh. Well, it could be a crochet hook. It could be a fishing hook.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how to. That one's a head scratcher for me.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes those are the best things because then you get to develop from there.
Yep.
Okay. Nine of hearts.
So we got one of each suite.
Yes. Nine of hearts.
Is there one for the Joker?
Let me check.
Draw it twice.
No, I don't see any.
Okay.
Okay, and that was nine of hearts?
Yep.
An herb bag filled with rare lichen found only in the deepest caverns. You just pickpocketed a drought.
Yeah, or somebody who's visited the Underdark.
Yeah. So I like that. I always love those additional things. And we've got two. Oh dear God.
What's that?
Some magic items.
Oh yeah, the two new magic items.
One of them is not a magic item.
Okay.
But it is right up your alley.
Okay.
So you've got Wayland's Wondrous Wyvern Pipe. Wondrous item, rare, requires attunement. This small smoking pipe is carved of a meerschaum.
Yeah, meerschaum is a type of pipe.
Yeah, in the shape of a wyvern with a wooden tail. Smoking of traditional materials causes the white wyvern to glow red, and the pleasurable effects of the smoke are greatly enhanced. The pipe has other more insidious purposes. Named after famed assassin Wylan the Smokestalker, due to his penchant for disappearing without a trace or without evidence of his murders. Anyone tuned to this pipe is immune to its effects. And they have some rules on there. This is a thing right up your alley.
Okay.
It's a coin purse mimic. Tiny monstrosity. Neutral.
Excellent. Show the picture of the pipe too. That's excellent.
Yes.
Even though this extra smoke comes out of the bowl, it's got to be down at the bottom there.
Yeah.
I have some meerschaums. I even have some of the Irish clay pipes.
Ooh.
But I would really like to find an Irish clay pipe that hasn't previously been broken.
Ooh.
That almost every Irish clay pipe you're going to find is going to have a broken stem.
Ooh. Is there a reason why, or are they just?
They're just fragile.
They're just fragile. Okay. Okay.
Now, if you buy a new one or you get somebody to make you one, it probably won't broke. But if you just find one, like in a thrift store or something like that, the odds are the stem is going to be broken.
Okay. So there wasn't much in here. Well, no, I take that back. There was a lot in here. There was a lot that I'm happy with. I was worried about the quality dropping. This, at least for now, eases my worries.
Right.
Yeah. Was there anything else to unbox?
No, not unless you want to look at something old that hasn't been on the talk show before.
Well, I did bring up this one. Is there anything in here?
No, there's nothing in that one.
Nothing in that one. Okay.
Oh, well, it might have something in there, but it's not going to be much. I use these mostly for storing my miniatures in.
Oh no, this one we've opened.
Ah, yeah.
This one's we've opened before.
Okay.
So I mentioned something that I want to talk to you about. Might as well put it out here now.
Okay.
In the opening, they mentioned talking to people in the community, and you've been with Dungeon Crate for a very long time.
Yeah, as a customer, and when I ran conventions, I got him to. He voluntarily sent me things to hand out to my dungeon masters, whether they were little bags of unknown items or they were just, here's a collection of pencils and stuff. And it was always good. People loved winning their things, being recognized as a dungeon master. That worked hard for me.
Yeah.
Or I should say game master, because everybody that ran anything had an opportunity to get something.
Yeah.
And most times I actually had enough stuff to give every game master something.
Yeah, I know that I was the beneficiary of the last Spokane. Because although I wasn't game mastering at the time, I was on the clock for something else. Ended up, and you still see me using it, a hit point tracker.
Oh yeah,
made out of wood.
Yep. I use mine. Actually, I don't use mine. My son uses mine. I use different hit point trackers, but those are the kind of things that I really appreciated.
Yeah.
If I was going to put a talking point or a suggestion about those hit point trackers, is expand them so that they can do 3 digits.
Yeah, although that may be harder.
It's not that hard, really.
Okay.
Because the first disc, instead of going 0 to 10, you just make the numbers go 0 to 20.
Okay.
And then, and that's in the first block. So, that's the tens place. So we have 1, that's 10. 2, 0 is 0. And I can go up to 29.
Yeah.
Or 209 that way.
Okay. What I was thinking, because when I think 3 digits, I'm thinking all the way up to 999.
Right.
Yeah.
But you really don't need to get much higher than 200 or 300 for hit points.
Yeah.
There's very few monsters that fit the 500 point range. And I do have something for that. I have these dice. They're all 10-siders, but there's one for every numbers place up to 1 million.
Wow. Wow.
So I can do 9 million. I may be even able to go higher than 1 million, but at least I can do nine all the way
A
down.
ridiculous amount of hit points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
have ways of dealing with that.
I was thinking, maybe we could see about, getting an interview for Dungeon Crate magazine.
Yes, I also, at some point we're going to have to actually start reaching out to sponsors again
Yes.
and getting, I've been doing these unboxings for free.
Unprompted.
Yeah,
But
unrequested, etc.
not expecting anything, but I feel, considering the relationship you've had with them, and our position as RPG research, I think it's something that would benefit both.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I would not ask for them to start paying for my current subscription. I would continue that forever. But if he wanted to throw something out that isn't in a dungeon crate
Hmm.
that he wants reviewed, or if um, anything like that, anything he else want to review. If you go to the website,
Hmm.
their store has everything from socks
Hmm.
to necklaces to props to gaming products. They're now a brick and mortar. They
Yeah.
started off as strictly the loot box.
Hmm.
Um, then they went to eventually they got their own store
Hmm.
and they're doing events there and things like that. Special things you can only buy if you are in town.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we can interview him, or we can
Or he can interview you.
he can interview
Or
me
Hawk.
for the
I don't know about me.
for the Mac. You can interview both of us.
Mhm.
We can do an interview with him, and then he writes it up in his.
We could trade interviews.
Yeah. I would love for him to put a little business card for us for the talk show.
Hmm.
So there are things that we can do with all of the other um, businesses that we buy things from frequently.
Yeah.
Um, and like I said, up to this point, we have not asked anybody's permission to do a review.
No.
They haven't requested any.
Well, no, there was the art review that we did for
Right, we did one
yeah.
art review.
Hmm.
That was requested of us,
Hmm. I
but
hope I did well with that.
I think you did. I
Yeah.
think you covered it well. Gave constructive criticism
Hmm.
and gave them something they can share to show off their artwork.
Yeah, because when it comes to other artists, you know, I don't ever want to be mean for just because I'm not
Yeah,
insecure with my art. I always want to support other artists being the best possible artists that they could be.
right. You
Yeah.
don't want to say, "Oh, you're a horrible artist." You want to say, "This is what you can do to make your art better."
And not just that, but I could say like, oh yeah, you could do certain things, but I also want to make it, I want to give the advice in the context of where they are and where they're going.
Right.
Because if someone is doing a whole lot of cartoony stuff, unless I'm seeing, like I mentioned earlier in the episode, some foundational problems with the anatomy, I'm not going to ask them to be more realistic.
Right.
Yeah.
I might ask them to be a little more realistic in their use of physics,
It depends.
accounting for
Mhm.
cartoon physics.
Right.
But I'm talking about when I'm talking about physics, um, the speed lines go behind the guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There are. It depends on, as I said, the context of what they're working in.
Right.
Yeah. If they're being cartoony, are we talking, know, you know, just thinly veiled realism, kind of like what was happening in certain aspects of. Actually, I'll use Secret of the Nim.
Yes.
Secret of the Nim, very grounded in its animation.
Right. It actually looked at rat muscles
Oh
and
yeah,
movements and things like that.
and actually, the limping of the owl in Secret of the Nim, we actually studied in my school.
I I can see that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was masterful.
Secret of the masterpiece.
That owl looked like he was heavy,
Yes.
and it looked uncomfortable for that limp. It wasn't a cartoonish limp, though there are times when you want cartoonish.
Right. And then the other extreme is when there are very few grounds connecting it with reality. Trying to think of one. You know, Amazing World of Gumball.
Yeah, Amazing World of Gumball, Digital Circus for a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that one's understandable because they are dealing with just bizarre levels of abstraction that is grounded in the reality. I bring up Amazing World of Gumball because they don't have to be that bizarre,
no,
but they are.
they are a master class in multimedia.
Oh yes, I mind you, the ones that I bring up, I love all of them.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of everything, but the ones that I bring up, I want to say that at least I enjoy them. Also, what is it? Adventure Time.
Right.
Very, very cartoony.
And but even more cartoony than that is early Hanna-Barbera and
Felix the Cat.
yeah, Felix the Cat, early Daffy Duck
hmm
and Bugs Bunny.
I think it's called the Bill Fleischer era.
Right.
Yeah.
And this era where we actually almost, no, I think actually established rules for cartoon physics
Yeah.
as opposed to
Yeah.
realistic.
In that time, they were very much understanding and fleshing out the principles of animation. So it isn't expected to, I can talk about the artist's handbook or for animation where it talks about the various principles of animation.
I'm trying to remember if I have that one. I might. It won't be here.
Yeah.
This is all game materials, but
Yeah. I have this one at home, and I've given my nephew 2 copies already.
do you have Understanding Comics?
No, I don't have that one yet.
You need that one.
I know I need to. That is one where I have to sit down and just read and get through it. I've heard nothing but phenomenal things about it. But the Bill Fleischer era was before they established, the foundations of good animation,
Right.
which is also connected to the old wise men in Disney, which are the founding fathers of of this animation.
Right.
Yeah, we're talking about things like what is it? Follow through, volume, anticipation, reaction, stuff like that. And this is I'm all talking about technical terms.
Yeah.
In animation.
That I understand, but I can understand. Hey, if you want to know more about animation and how it affects your role playing game, or how to use it in a role playing game, then
I can find ways. I can always find ways to connect it. But yeah, it's when you're in that more abstract era, they may have one or two aspects of animation that they were focusing on, but they may not necessarily give you a good anticipation or follow through. But you'll see there was so much squash and stretch, so much squash and stretch, and not necessarily as maintaining volume while doing it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, along with all of these things, everything what we talked about before today, to the boxes, when you create a language and you're consistent with it,
yes,
that's when you get excellent work.
Yeah, you have to have it in. It doesn't have to be consistent with reality, but it has to be internally consistent.
Correct.
Yeah. Once you establish rules, stick with them, unless there's a good reason to break them.
Right.
But you can't just you can't have a rule and then ignore it. Yeah. And that's not just with animation. That's with role playing. That's with storytelling. Yeah.
And it's okay to break the rules, but you better have an explanation
as to why.
in-world explanation as
Mm-hmm.
to why.
Yeah.
You can't just say I ran out of blue ink.
Well, sometimes,
Necessity is the mother of invention.
I'm thinking about why the Hulk started off being gray.
Yeah, that is an interesting story,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a change from the gray to the green and the purple pants.
Yeah.
Um, there's good stories behind that,
Yeah.
which we're not going to go into today.
No. But I do think because this is going back into one of the things that we were talking about. You were mentioning, the idea you had about um uh, using AI to with consent producing animated versions of Xena.
Right.
And one of the problems I've found when it comes to I don't want to call it philosophy, but basically it's this mindset that I've seen so many people have with AI
Mm-hmm.
is they feel like it empowers them. But as someone who has been creative and I've judged other creative projects as well, sometimes having full power makes and full power to do something actually reduces your quality. And I actually have a perfect example for this.
Go ahead.
Star Wars Episode 4,
Yep.
which is the first one that he did, that George Lucas did. He didn't have the fame that he has now.
Didn't have the technology that it has
Didn't
now.
have the technology, and he was forced to work with a lot of different people who, at times, pushed back on his ideas. And it is through that constraint that a better product was put out. I
Right.
genuinely feel that episodes 4, 5, and 6, well, 4 and 5 and half of 6, are superior to any other of the mainline Star Wars movies out there because he didn't have full power and control and creative control. He
Right.
had to work with other people, which means he had to collaborate.
Yeah, I definitely see where you're going with that.
Yeah.
The idea of two minds is better than one.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to creativity or even production, multiple minds hone each other.
Yes. And this is one of the problems I'm seeing with AI, where people aren't collaborating anymore. And the AI is all it's doing is it's regurgitating what it wants you to want, as opposed to possibly pushing back and giving you things that you may have to disagree with.
I got a question about an acceptable use of AI.
Okay.
You are going to, let's just stick with Xena.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to make a Xena animated show.
Yes.
You have permission from the studio
Mm-hmm.
to use AI to create, it's not a marquette, it's a doll. Is that what you call them?
Maquette.
When it's just the figure.
Okay.
You rotate it around, flip it on,
Mm-hmm.
it's the puppet.
Yeah.
Um, so you use your AI
Mm-hmm.
to analyze all the photos
Mm-hmm.
from the films, including the cuts, and then it creates with whatever art style you want,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's hyper realistic or Looney Tunes. Then you have that model.
Yeah.
Now that we've created these models, you, the animator, have to do the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Is that acceptable?
Okay.
We haven't taken away your creativity.
Mm-hmm.
We have just copied reality that
Mm-hmm.
was already there, and we had permission because you're working for the people that own Xena.
So, I have outside of my opinions on AI.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to start punching some holes here, and I'm actually happy that you brought up Xena because I actually ended up watching a couple of things on the production of Xena, and it turns out that when it came to the costume design, certain things changed for specific reasons.
Right.
and
Pregnancy being one of them.
pregnancy being one of them. Just usability by the actors is another.
Right.
Right.
Was this functional?
Right. And I don't know when I'm using AI why it made certain decisions. But if I'm making the maquette of a model that I'm going to be using,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that I would want to do as someone who's designing this is talk to the people who were making those design decisions to get in their heads, because
Right.
that will help me move forward, as opposed to, well, here's a mock-up, I don't know why it's working, why it's this way, and I have to figure it out. That information is incredibly useful.
And I can definitely see you doing that.
Mm-hmm.
The decisions that are going to be made by the AI in creating the model
Mm-hmm.
will be based on what it saw.
Right. And this is one of the other things that I see issues with. As an animator, I understand that when we're transitioning between mediums, certain things translate better and certain things have to be massaged. And a AI rendition of a model may not be optimized for animation.
Right.
And if I have a producer who's saying, "Here's a model, use it for animation," and I'm an expert animator, and I'm thinking, I can't have those boots. They're too detailed.
You're talking computer generated. They're unless they're too detailed where they become muddy.
Mm-hmm.
That shouldn't be a problem.
Well, am I doing 3D animation or 2D animation?
3D.
3D animation. Okay.
Because you don't need AI to help create a model for 2D.
Right. I was just using that as an example where there may be certain considerations where, in a figure model isn't necessarily an animation model. And sometimes we have to drop quality because, it may be high detail. I don't want to animate in for example, 3 million polygons, unless I'm Pixar.
Right. Also, there are things that you have to, like motion blur,
Right.
or the blur for. If everything is crystal clear from the background to the front,
What are you focusing on?
and it's completely unrealistic.
Yeah. And, if I'm given a model and, for example, there's topography on the armor, right,
Mm-hmm.
where they modeled everything. And I'm thinking to myself, that's wonderful. I need that to be a bump map now. I need less polygons so that when I send that thing to render, I'm not, sending it to render and coming back next week.
Well, when you are animating, do you not take a skeleton and animate that and then put the rest on top?
Not always.
Not always.
It depends on what I'm animating. For large action shots, then yeah, I may just be using a skeleton. And after the skeleton, then we put the model on it. But that skeleton is going to be deforming the model, which is why we can't just use a skeleton and then slap it on there, because with the skeleton, I'm using bones. Okay, and I'll use my arm here. Okay? Okay? We've got the joint here, 2 bones here.
Right.
Okay? I can tell you right now, if I'm constructing this, I don't have 2 bones.
You're just doing a single line.
No. I have multiple broken up, making it look like a spine, so that I can do this and have that morphing across the arm, but in real life, it's 2 bones and they're crossing each other. But the program doesn't necessarily do that well. Yeah. So there's a lot of considerations that the AI may not be aware of when it's making the decisions.
So, is there if you were giving AI just, and you were told, this is yours to use as a tool, and this AI is specifically designed for animation.
Mm-hmm.
To what extent will you use it? And for example, a lot of animation, of course, is the establishing shot, the finished shot, and how you got there.
Okay. Yeah, that is the set pieces.
Right.
Yeah.
So the AI, would it be useful to help you in transitions?
Not necessarily.
Is there a use for you as an animator for AI? And I do apologize to the audience that we have gotten off topic.
Yeah. We got to the end of reviewing. Right now we're just in another just chatting.
Yeah.
um I'm trying to keep my feelings out of it when it comes to AI. But ultimately I have to be, it comes down to, is it usable for me? Because of, without even the emergence of AI, I've had commission work where I had a client tell me, okay, they want this image animated. Like, okay, fine. They sent me the image, and I asked for it to be in certain layers, a specific way, because, let's say that I've got a character, I've got a character that I'm animating, and I have a background.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if I'm doing a simple thing like the cape is flowing, I need to know what the background is behind that cape, because in some frames the cape is blocking it, and in some frames the cape isn't.
Right.
Right,
Because it's moving.
because it's moving.
Yeah.
The layers that I got didn't give me that.
And the background could be moving as well as you're moving across.
Right. The layers I got were from the painter who did it, and he didn't do background information. All he did was a flat image, and I got none of the information that I needed.
Right.
And although it was from another professional artist who I will not besmirch their work, they were good.
Right.
They didn't give me the information I needed, and it was unusable.
So you have to create those layers.
Yes.
And is an AI a legitimate tool? No, we're not talking any of the ethical,
Mm-hmm.
I'm stealing art here.
Yeah.
I am using art that you have the right to be using,
Mm-hmm.
and people are being all paid fairly.
Yeah.
But does AI in the animation or creative world for you
Mm-hmm.
have any value?
The value is going to be based off of is what it's giving me usable, and I can't determine.
Well, can you think of any places where it would be usable? For example, in your scenario there, would it be helpful? Because I know they can do this.
Mm-hmm.
When they remove a person from a picture,
Yeah,
it's
and then
using AI to figure out what was behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Can the AI be used to create those layers for you?
Yeah.
And all that is a labor-saving device as opposed to taking away your creativity and your um, artistic merit.
So if it's doing stuff like that, yes, there's a potential for that. Yes. It depends on as I said, how usable is it? Um, uh, It's going to be one of those things where outside of my creativity, I'm not even bringing my creativity into this at this point. It needs to be processed a certain way to get certain effects done, regardless of my opinion. And I'm looking for usability in that process, in the myriad of processes I may have to use to get a product from concept to finished product. And I
Right.
can't say, I know it seems like I'm not answering the question, but there are so many different processes that I have to account for that I can't just tell you one or another.
Okay, now to bring this back to Dungeons and Dragons or role-playing games in general.
Yeah.
Can AI have ethical uses in the creations of role-playing games? For example, the first one I thought off the top of my head is to make accurate to hit charts.
Accurate to hit charts.
Right. you have a 1% here, 1% at the groin.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is broken up into nines, and you get your body thing. And we have the actual percentages. Can it create a logarithm or whatever
Algorithm.
to when you roll the dice, it will match up to hit locations semi-realistically. I know you can do that in video games, but in making a role-playing game, is there a use for AI? For example, we've been talking about your world creation stuff, and we're talking about all of the elements for creating weather and things like that. And you obviously said, I don't want to get into tectonic plates.
Right.
But if the AI did that for you, then it's there.
Okay. So I would have to have it in a very limited. It'd be one of those things where I'd need to know what I'm using it for and what processes it is supplanting. So if, for example, I get to design my world, right? Okay, I design my world, and then I say, I bring it into a program that uses AI or whatever, and I say, I need to know where the tectonic plates are now. Then I would trust, okay, we've got a fault line here, we've got tectonic plates here, and whatnot, and I'd allow it to do that.
Also, just doing the math. You know how much math is involved in making a weather model?
Why do you think I said I didn't want to touch it?
Right.
Right.
But no, that's a realistic weather model.
Yeah.
We obviously have and done before. I've seen people do weather on a 6-sided dice.
Yeah.
Very, very simplistic. But I think that AI could be used in world creation when you want to create a realistic fantasy world.
This also depends on personal preferences on fantasy.
Right.
It's one of those personal sliding scales where your realism may be, too realistic for other people.
I'm too realistic for one of our players who doesn't believe that math is involved in role-playing games.
Yeah, he wants his square circles. He wants square
circles and cylinder, cylindrical balls.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's no, what's the math he's always complaining about it being?
Trigonometry.
Trigonometry.
And calculus.
Which has nothing to do with basic algebra and geometry.
So, you mentioned like more realistic hit charts, right? If I bring that to a group, let's say just call them all adults, right? Okay. But only one person has a background in medicine. Okay. That to hit, it may be like, oh, that's interesting, but they may not be able to utilize it. And now the person who has a higher degree in understanding medicine, so for example, let's say it's me, it's like, oh yeah, I want to shoot them here.
Right.
Yeah. To some people, that may just be like, okay, it's the next shot. For other people, like, okay, well, that person's paralyzed from the neck down.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you put in a game feature, you're also looking at what is the game.
Right.
Something like a realistic hit location with modifications given for whether or not you have a scope, facing, and all those other kind of things is more useful in a grittier game.
Yeah.
For example, Twilight 2000 realistic hit charts are more important than Dungeons and Dragons, where facing isn't even an issue.
Right. I'll put it to you this way. I feel like if it's going to, when it comes to mechanics in role-playing games, if it has to be play tested afterwards, I feel like it's better off to have just started off as in human hands.
So coming up with the math behind the game
Yeah, I'd
It's
leave
not
that.
something you want to trust to an AI.
No, because even when you're dealing with the math behind a game, you're dealing with the philosophy of that math
Right.
and how you want it to feel. Because you don't necessarily know the whys that the AI chose certain ratios. Whereas when, for example, when we were talking to
Well,
David, David could talk about the ratios in dice systems.
right.
Yeah, I would trust David more than I trust the AI. Even though I may not agree with David more, at least I can ask David why.
I have seen in my experience of working with AI that I can get pretty good explanations behind the answers. I don't just get 42% as my answer. I get 42% based on these findings or that research. But and if I want more information about how they got that 42%, I can ask. Um, but those are the type of considerations. Is AI is inevitable.
I understand that. For me, it's a matter of how are you utilizing it.
Right. So my question is, and this is we'll have to leave it on this.
Yeah.
Is where can we ethically use AI to create things?
And this is the discussion that everyone is having right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think AI could be definitely looked. I want a list of all the books in this library in this time frame, so I can use it in my game.
Yeah.
I mean, for the research stuff behind it, I think AI could be used. For the creative side of it,
that is
you need humans.
Yeah, I feel AI is really good for gathering and compiling the information, not necessarily extrapolating on the information. Does it make sense?
Yeah, but I'm also not asking it to. I'm asking what is the data, and then I decide what to do with the data.
Yeah. What do I do with the data? That's the extrapolation. That's why I wouldn't want to, for example, the hit charts. To me, that's game design. That's extrapolation. Yeah.
But the math behind game design is something that has to be considered.
Yeah.
And some people are better at math than others.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm an artist. Anatomy is something that I have to account for. Not all artists are good with anatomy.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's absolutely true.
Yeah. I still trust an artist more than I trust the AI.
Yeah, and there's different types of artists.
Right.
You're looking for a fiber artist. They have less need of anatomy than you do.
Right.
It's an interesting conversation.
Oh yeah.
We'll get into it later, especially when we talk about ethics and code of conducts and things like that.
Yes.
But next week, what are we going to talk about?
We are going to be talking about formatting considerations.
All right.
Yes.
Well, let's go back.
So, this has been the RPG Talk Show, brought to you by the RPG Research in cooperation with the USS Spokane. This has been the RPG Talk Show, brought to you by RPG Research in cooperation with the USS Spokane, the Inland Empire Star Trek Fan Association. Comments, questions, and suggestions should be directed at info@rpgresearch.com, with the subject line including RPG Talk Show.
Now, next week, our topic will be formatting considerations, and it's going to be a little broader than you might think. It's not formatting of just the character sheet, but the books and the style of how it's presented. There's a lot to be talked about when it comes to format decisions with role-playing games.
Presenting information, visual considerations in that as well, readability, things like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So, see you next week. Good night, and
dream well.